I've had a chance throughout this dinner to sit next to a young man who you're going to hear now. He is a classic example of why this program works, because of people like him. The impact of Genesys Works has literally changed his life and his track of life. Here to talk about that, please welcome Hector Avellaneda.
Thank you for that kind introduction. 10 years ago, my options in life were simple. I could do like so many of my friends were doing and join a gang and sell drugs, or I could join the military. That's it. My reality consisted of just those two options: become a thug or become a soldier. You see, I come from a household with very limited education and financial resources. In fact, no one in my family had ever graduated from high school. Now, I don't want you to believe for a second that I was the troublemaker growing up, because the fact is that I wasn't. But let me tell you what I was. I was a high school student who was lost, who had no clear direction in life, who feared an uncertain future. And unless I was able to pack my bags and head off to the military as soon as possible, I feared what would become of my life. But that all started to change in the spring of 2002 when this guy walked into my classroom and started telling me that I could accomplish so much more in life if I only joined his program. He started showing me all these charts and graphs to prove his point that, to be honest, I could care less about at the time. Just tell me how to make more money, I thought. That's why I came to this meeting. I was very skeptical of the guy, but I knew that there had to be some truth in what he was telling me. After all, anyone who was willing to take a chance on a 17-year-old high school kid with a shaved head and a goatee and turn him into a professional had to know something I didn't. So I took a leap of faith and I joined his very first class. Well, that summer, our class of 10 trained hard, and we learned many neat things. But you know what? At the end of the summer, there were 3 of us left, and we had 0 jobs. Apparently, finding meaningful jobs for us high school students was a lot harder than Raphael thought. Well, I had no choice. I had to go back to Subway making sandwiches for a living. But I have to admit, I was very disheartened. I mean, here I was. I had given up my summer in hopes of being able to find a better job and had nothing to show for it. Well, a couple of months later, Raphael came to me and said he finally had some great news. We secured our first position working with Reliant, a great company downtown, he said. Hector, are you ready to start working? I could tell he was very excited. But no way was I going to set myself up for another upset, I thought. I'm sorry, Raphael. I'm sticking with Subway and with my plan to join the military. Politely, I declined his offer. Well, just a couple of weeks later, while I was working the night shift at Subway, I was robbed at gunpoint. It was a scary situation, but that night, I picked up the phone, called Raphael, and said, Raphael, I'm ready for that job now if you still have it. Well, a few months later, Rafael came back to me and said that there was a second position that was available. Now, even though the first student had taken the first job offer, the second position was actually available, and I decided to move forward with the position. Now, never in my wildest dreams did I ever believe I would actually set foot in a Houston skyscraper to work as a professional. But when I did, it completely transformed the perception I had of my life. Can you imagine what it feels like to be a 17-year-old high school kid that came from nothing and to work in a building where he is seen not as a kid, but as a valuable member of a team, as a professional? It's an amazing feeling. And I wanted more. When I saw that the people I was working with weren't necessarily better than me or brighter than me, that's when I decided, you know what? I think I can do this. No, I can do this. I can become a professional. It changed everything. With that new mindset about what I could accomplish in life, I set out to enroll in the greatest university in this state, Texas A&M. But you know what? I was completely unprepared for what I was getting myself into. College was hard. In fact, my first semester, I earned a 1.7 GPA. Yeah, nothing fun about that. I remember calling one of my former managers to tell him that was it. I was done. I just couldn't do it. It was way too hard. But when I talked to him and tried justifying my decision to drop out, he encouraged me to stay in, to fight hard, to not give up, to learn how to study. He truly became my mentor. And yet I doubted myself. I thought about how hard it was going to be to simply raise my grades, to have a shot at succeeding in college. But then, all I could think about was of all the people who had supported me along the way and how I did not want to let them down. And you know what? I did it! In 2009, I graduated from Texas A&M University, earning a degree in technology management, and graduated with a solid 3.0. Today, I'm a program manager working in the server division at Hewlett-Packard. And while I have had a great deal of personal success in my life, what I consider to be my most profound accomplishment is the rippling effect my success has had throughout my family. You see, I have 2 younger siblings whose ultimate goal in life 10 years ago was to graduate from high school at best. At best. Today, I'm happy to report that my sister is just 1 semester away from graduating from the University of Houston. And as for my younger brother, well, he just received his admissions letter to Texas A&M. Like me, both went through the Genesys Works program. But for them, college is no longer a probability anymore. It's a requirement. You know, I was the first in my family to graduate from high school, and I was the first to earn a college degree. I was the first to obtain a corporate profession, and I'm proud to be the leader who has broken the cycle of poverty within my family, altering the course of our lives forever. And you know, while there's been tremendous growth in the Genesys Works program over these last 10 years, since that fateful day when I first decided to give it a try, there's one thing that remains constant. And that is that the life-changing experiences would not be possible if it were not for the corporations and individuals like you who believe in our true potential. And so on behalf of everyone who has gone through the Genesys Works program over these last 10 years, I want to sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.